He not only wasted government money, he made it more difficult for entrepreneurs and innovators to come up with the new ideas of the future. This president doesn't understand how this economy works. It's time to get a president who does.
Well, that's the heart of it, by the way. Welcome to Hardball. By the way, that's Mitt Romney's strongest argument, maybe his main argument for the presidency, is that he knows the economy and he can get it turned around. Well, today's jobs numbers show the economy moving in the right direction. The unemployment rate dropped to 8.5%. It's the lowest level since the spring of 2009. And employers added 200,000 jobs in the month of December. Well, today, President Obama acknowledged the progress while noting there are a lot of people still hurting.
The American people, I think, rightly understand that there's still a lot of struggles that people are going through out there. A lot of families are still having a tough time. A lot of small businesses are still having a tough time. But we're starting to rebound. We're moving in the right direction. We have made real progress. Now's not the time to stop.
Well, for a candidate like Romney, who's made business experience his calling card, how does an improving economy affect the race? David Gregory is moderator of Meet the Press, and this Sunday morning will moderate the big Republican presidential candidates debate in Concord, New Hampshire. And Susan Page is Washington bureau chief for USA Today, which is at our door each morning up here, I must say. By the way, David, you can't escape USA Today when you travel. Anyway, this chart we're looking at shows the huge jobs mess President Obama actually inherited from George W. Bush. As you can see, the economy was hemorrhaging jobs. The jobs there, red, are losing jobs, and Obama had to climb out of that trough. Well, today's report has 200,000 jobs added this past December, as I said. Now look at how the stock market has performed during that same time period, going up, up, up from a low of 6,500 and the Dow way up to now well over 12,000. By the way, anybody who's retired or is looking at their money all the time knows what I'm talking about. Surprising progress, David. And this is the question. The Romney approach is, I've got the toolkit. I've got the know-how. Let me at that car. Let me get under that hood, and I'm going to fix it. If these numbers continue to progress, not just on the market with the Dow, but the unemployment numbers continue to go down. How does he campaign in the general election?
I think it gets a lot harder. I think ultimately it becomes a question of credit. Can the president only get the blame and not any of the credit? Here's an important question to answer your question with, which is, can this president combine a positive trend line on the economy by getting big business off the sideline? Has he lost them? Are they gone to the Republican Party? Or can he get them to actually start committing some of their capital? If they start to do that, $2
trillion they're sitting on.
That they're sitting on in the course of this year. We get to the fall of this year. How different could the economy look? And look, we got big structural problems.
But you're also asking a very interesting strategic question.
Right.
Are there some people on the sidelines who want to stay there till they get a more pro-market president?
Right, and you're going to get some of that argument from the Republicans to say, look, you're not going to get them off the sideline because they don't know what President Obama will do in a second term on regulation. We've already done health care, but on some of these other pieces that they just don't know about.
Let's look ahead to the debate, the debates this weekend, including the one that David's going to be holding Sunday morning on Meet the Press. It looks to me like Newt Gingrich is showing his teeth. I mean, we did it in the interview I think we just showed, where he's basically saying where he's headed. I'm going after him on taxpayer-paid abortions up in Massachusetts. I'm going to get him on Planned Parenthood, the red meat of the Republican Party.
And, of course, this is Newt Gingrich's best forum, right? He's really excelled in debates. His whole candidacy was launched by his performance in debates. And it sounded in his interview like he's going straight after Mitt Romney, although in some ways he really ought to be going after Rick Santorum, because we have a race for number 2 in the New Hampshire primary. If he doesn't, if Newt Gingrich trails Santorum by a significant margin here, as he did in Iowa, what's his argument for staying in South Carolina and dividing that part of the electorate, the anti-Mitt Romney electorate?
How are you going to do this? You have to moderate this. He's going to fight a two-front war, it looks like.
Well, he is, but don't forget, Newt Gingrich says that Rick Santorum is the junior partner here. So, you know, Newt Gingrich is the grown-up, right, who's supposed to attack Mitt Romney. Somebody's got to slow Romney down. I mean, if Romney is the real front-runner, he's got to demonstrate that he can win big. But he can do it in this state, potentially. That's the expectation.
Who's in the debate on Sunday? Which of the players?
Everybody. Everybody is
Perry's out or in?
He's in.
So he's also going to be taking shots.
Well, he is, and going after Santorum. So, I mean, this is really the factor here, is that Romney is still up against a splintered field. That certainly inures to his benefit.
And the question is, so what's interesting is to look at the mathematics of this, because anybody can watch how this game is developing. Looking down at South Carolina, you're looking at Romney picking up speed. He's up into the high 30s now. But even in the high 30s, there's 3 guys, Santorum, Gingrich, and Perry, whose total vote is way over the other guys.
Right. Also,
so there's still all that wealth of conservative votes. And I guess the question is, at what point is that magic moment in this fight where the conservatives say, we're losing this because we're divided?
Yeah.
Well, I think that point comes after New Hampshire. I think this field is set for Tuesday. At that point, I think there will be an assessment. We saw on MSNBC earlier today that Richard Land from the Southern Baptist said that there would be a movement to try to consolidate behind a real social conservative for South Carolina. Social conservative, behind someone that he would feel comfortable with, which means someone who would not be Mitt Romney, but be prepared.
Isn't the funny thing they have to
Romney.
Choose among two Catholics? It's the idea of a social conservative didn't used to include that. That's the question here. I wanted to ask you about this debate again on Sunday morning. Ron Paul, the odd man out. We were talking about it before. It seems to me the candidates agree on one thing. They don't think Paul's one of them. The other candidates.
They don't. And I think it's a real question as to whether, if they were backed into a corner, whether they could really support him. I mean, they recognize his danger, and his danger is newcomers to the process. His danger is money and organization. He was taking on Rick Santorum today in an interview.
He just raised, what, $9 million or something?
It's unbelievable.
Some chunk of money.
It's also his strength among independents. I mean, what does that do? If you're Huntsman, for instance, and you want to make some noise in the state and you're behind an independent, behind Ron Paul, that's very, very tough.
Sunday morning.
I'll be there.
The man, right after that.
Thank you. I got to thank you for this thing right here. It's Sunday. It's Meet the Press.
Okay,
I'm
not only is it
grateful.
Meet the Press, but thereafter there will be an hour and a half of well-moderated discussion about what you've been having. And you're going to join us with that here on MSNBC.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there'll be an hour and a half on NBC, the network broadcast, and then here, which is simulcast, then here an hour and a half to really chew it up. Right. By Sunday noon, you will be an expert. You stay right here and coming up. I'm not sure to tell them to watch NBC or MSNBC, so just leave the dial where it is.